Well, let's delve straight away into our next discussion, talking about technology. Of course, in a world where technology has continued to take the front burner, investing in its use becomes even more imperative. And for women who are willing to carve a niche for themselves in the tech space, it's also become more imperative to support their career aspirations. And supporting the inclusion of women in tech will certainly promote gender diversity, drive innovation, and contribute to the nation's economic growth. It also challenges traditional gender roles, promoting equality and inclusivity. We have with us in the studio to take us further into this conversation, business, leadership, and tech consultant Mayowa Iji-Sheson. Thank you very much for joining us. Amongst all the names that I was able to hear about you, I think I'd rather ride with Pastor May. It sounds so cool. And looking at your bio, really enviable, especially from the world of tech. We were speaking moments ago, Emmanuel and I, before the show started, how unsaturated it is for women, and you have happened to break the barriers. Tell us, the lessons you've learned, in your journey so far.
Wow. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is resilience and the ability to bounce back from setbacks and also challenge biases that people may have. I've also learned that sometimes, especially if you feel like there's a bias towards you or against you, not to be too distracted by that. Not to be distracted by how people may perceive you, but to focus on what needs to be done. It's something I've had to do over and over again. I remember one time as a consultant when I walked into a company and I said I was there, and the receptionist said, "Oh, are you here for the admin job?" Like, why would you assume I'm here for the admin job?
This was where, I don't think it was Nigeria.
This was in Birmingham, Alabama,
and
to
still,
be precise.
You got to be asked that.
Yeah, so I'm like, is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm a woman? And I still had to focus on what needed to be done. So that's a big lesson that I've learned, and I keep learning. Focus. It doesn't matter what people think or believe you can or cannot do. Focus on what you can do, and focus on learning so that you can do more. Learning is a big thing for me. I'm very particular about learning.
So what's the drive? Is there a passion attached to this? Because for you to be focused, you must have that passion for it. So give us examples of those women you saw in this tech space and are making it, and that's giving you that drive and that passion to forge ahead.
Okay, you might be surprised that the women that give me passion are not necessarily just in the tech space. Okay. Because I think that knowledge, learning, passion cross-pollinates. Passion in one area can transcend that area and affect other areas. There are many female leaders that have inspired me over the years. One big one is Michelle Obama. When Obama became president in the US, it made a difference for me as a consultant who has traveled from company to company all over the US and in Canada. I suddenly see that the way people received me was different. And for me, having representation like that in the White House was big. I mean, I'm not trying to be political here, but she inspired me. There are many people of faith that inspire me, people who are alive, people who have gone on, who have passed. And then there are male leaders that inspire me as well. As a female, I think that it's very important to learn both from male and female. Why? Because many of the spaces we try to get into and have consequential impact in are male-dominated. We need to understand the mindset of people who have dominated that field for a long time. And I don't say this to try to get women to go into silos of female leadership by themselves, but the things I say because I think we need a more equitable world where we can benefit from both female and male in any given field.
Right. I like the fact that, of course, even though you will have a soft spot for technology, AI, and the likes, but the nuggets that I've taken from you you can ride with them across other sectors where you find yourself. But if we must look at the rise of women in technology, especially here in this part of the world, are you satisfied with the successes so far, at least looking at how you started and what you've been able to achieve? But do you think we should have gone farther than where we are?
Yes, I think we could have done better. We could have gone further. And I like the progress we've made, but I'm not satisfied.
So which areas would you like, women in tech now who are watching, what specifically would you have them do?
Okay. The area that is very hot and promising right now is AI. Artificial intelligence, generative AI. And because it is growing so rapidly, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And it's an area where I would like to see women grow. There's a lot to learn, but everyone is learning as well. So it's something that you don't have to feel disadvantaged by your background or what you lack in your background, because everyone is learning. What it takes to succeed in AI right now and to kind of grow with the curve is a passion for learning, ability to learn, to deal with the biases that keep us from learning. I think because many times we have certain biases, especially as women, that kind of self-sabotage or sabotage our learning efforts. Things like not knowing that you can learn from anyone, right? Things like biases against yourself, what you have been told, what you have come to believe about yourself, your limitations, your potentials, and dealing with some of those things will help us to learn. And learning is very important. Where tech is going, learning is so, so important.
I like the fact that you said a lot of opportunities. You made mention of background. This is generally saying that because you have a background does not make your back to be on the ground.
Very true.
So can you highlight some of these opportunities? And how lucrative is the tech business now?
Okay.
Amidst the threats.
Any figure to this?
Amidst the threats, by the way, let me quickly add that, that we still have people who believe that, AI is a threat to their sources of livelihoods and all of that. So maybe you can add that to your answer.
And the way to overcome those fears of threats is to know more, to understand what AI really is about. Artificial intelligence is about data. It's about data and mining patterns in data to build models that can then give you solutions in different areas. And really understanding that it's not a black box, so to speak. It may seem like it because it's very complex, but it's not a black box. And the more you know, the less fearful you will be. AI cannot take over the human race, right? It doesn't have the self-awareness to do so. But it can enhance a lot of things. Yes, it will eliminate a lot of jobs, quite all right. But the ideal world is human beings working side by side with AI solutions to create better solutions, more consistent solutions, right? Solutions we can rely on. We don't have to repeat certain things. We don't have to be redundant in certain things, but we can augment what human beings can do with the capacity of artificial intelligence. Now, as far as mining the opportunities, especially for different terrains and different countries and different areas of the world, what you feed in is important. Your data is so important. I'm very passionate about AI in our space in Nigeria. I like what the last speaker ended with, that you need to love Nigeria. You need to love your country. And to love your country in AI terms would mean making sure we get as much of data that is peculiar to our terrain into AI models as much as possible, so that we can use those models to help us make better decisions in different spaces, in healthcare, in education, in in retail. So many different areas and so many different opportunities across the board.
How lucrative?
Very lucrative. I mean, I won't throw out figures now. I won't throw out figures now because it just depends on what size of the pie you are looking to, take advantage of. right now I'm working with a startup, and there's a particular solution we are trying to get, and that pie looks different from the pie in other areas, but it's lucrative, and you can take it as far as you need to, depending on what sector.
It's making you to smile to the bank.
She just said it. She said it's still in the works. Why are you after the money? Hold on, Emmanuel. But
I can pitch to you after the.
So you see that kind of. All right, but I'm also curious about this issue of identifying needs, because I read your story, how you created a program while working at Silicon Valley, how you created a program which, according to that report, even your boss was surprised that you could create something, because according to you, you were tired with the mundane. So help us address, because some people will say, I don't know how, just looking at a space like this, one could see nothing, and yet another person could look at this space and then see opportunities. How people can tap into opportunities, moving forward, because that just seems to be the way to go. And you seem to have an edge. You obviously have an edge, in that area, identifying opportunities and, finding something around it.
Yes. Thank you for that. I mean, I've created programs all over throughout my life, my short life, to address needs and address issues. That one in particular solved my problem of being bored with what I was doing from day
and
to
many
day.
are bored. People are still in that space.
Yes. I mean, I've created programs for young people to better navigate their career journeys. I've created programs for pastors' wives to better understand themselves. So as far as what it takes to see opportunities to solve problems, I think that for me, where I'm at right now, I think empathy is very important, especially if it's going to solve problems for other people. You need to empathize with people, even if you are not in their shoes, to understand their pain points, or at least understand how painful their pain points are. I think that can lead you, that combined with passion, and then innovativeness. Innovativeness sounds like a big word, but it's not. It's just finding new ways of doing old things. When old ways don't work, then we need new ways of getting them done. And it requires patience sometimes. It requires focus a lot of times. I don't want to say maybe that's just the way I'm wired, because then that doesn't help anybody. But I would say if I was to reverse engineer the process, I would say that, first of all, the empathy is important, the passion is important, being open to learning is important, exercising yourself in sitting at a particular spot and being focused enough to come up with a solution that works and is sustainable.
Just in 1 minute, because of our time, are you mentoring young ones who are planning to get into the tech space?
Yes, I mentor people through different means. One particular way in which I mentor is through a program that I call Career Journeys, Stories That Inspire. And through that program, I interview people, seasoned professionals, and just try to get into their stories, not for my sake, although I enjoy hearing people's stories, but so that the viewers, the audience can understand that most people did not start out where they are right now. And most journeys are not linear. There are many ups and downs that you encounter throughout your journey, throughout your career journey. And by hearing other people tell their stories, you can be encouraged. You can see what can be done if you will exercise yourself in all these different areas. So it's an exciting show, and I hope to keep encouraging young people through it.
All right. Well, sadly, we couldn't get to talk about, your passion for women in ministry, especially wives of spiritual leaders. We'll look forward to another opportunity to talk about this and other, passions of yours in subsequent interviews. But we thank you very much, Amayo Ibisheson, for your time with us here at TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
I've had a wonderful time.
All right.